Hello there friends, it's Ashley here from the Loopy Lamb and theloopylamb.com, and thanks so much for stopping by the channel. Today I want to share a really fun, quick way to use up scrap yarn. So I have a ton of these little balls of yarn in my stash, and I was thinking, what could I do to use these in a practical way that, isn't just going to end up in the garbage, right? Because I just can't let them go. And so I decided to make some really fun pom-pom earrings. And in today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you two different styles of pom-pom earrings to make. This one is which I'm calling the wire style, which has these suspended by these little wires. And then, of course, the chain style, named because they're used after using chains. And so we've got these pom-poms suspended by chains. Now, to follow along with the tutorial, you're going to need the following materials. I used a 1-inch clover pom-pom maker, but you can use whatever size pom-pom you'd like to use and you're comfortable wearing. Now, I really like the 1-inch size, but I've also made a pair using a 1 3/8 inch pom-pom maker. And just so you can see the different sizes, that's the size difference between the two. So it really depends on how big of a pom-pom you're willing to wear. So again, you're going to need your pom-pom maker and a sharp pair of scissors. You're going to need some scrap yarn, some wire cutters if you're going to be making the wire style earrings, and some jewelry pliers. Now, specifically for the wire style earrings, you're going to be needing 2 of these 2-inch eye pins. And now these eye pins are just straight wires that are about 2 inches long, and they have a little eyelet here up at the top, and that's important for attaching our earrings. So make sure that if you're getting them, they have the little eyelet at the top. And then you're going to need 2 of your fish hook, or I think they're called fish hook style earring wires. And I've got 2 of those for that pair. And then for your chain style earrings, you're going to need the fish hook earring style hooks as well. And you're going to be needing 2 6mm jump rings. And you're going to need some chain. Now, I bought this chain. I've got it still on the packaging here. I got this chain from Michaels, and it's a 1.5mm Figaro chain, and it's by Bead Landing, which I believe is a Michaels branded product. And the reason I bought this one is because it's just so pretty, because it's got different sizes of chain within the actual chain. So each link is a little different, but you can use whatever chain that you'd prefer. And this one comes, just in case you're curious, in a 72-inch length. And that's why we're going to be needing the wire cutters, because we're going to be cutting some wire. All right, so that's it. We're going to clear my workspace now, and then we'll jump right into making our pom-pom earrings. All right, to start our pom-pom earrings, we're going to start by making our pom-pom. Now, I'm using the 1-inch clover pom-pom maker here, but you can use whatever size pom-pom maker you would like to use. It just will adjust the size of your pom-pom. So we're going to take our pom-pom maker, and how these work is they have 2 sets of arms, and you're going to open them up like so. And we're going to be wrapping each set of arms with our yarn. So I'm going to be using this pink yarn here. It's just a worsted weight yarn. And we're going to wrap one set of the arms. Now, I like to hold the yarn tail down with my finger when I start, and just start wrapping the arms from one side to the next. So you want to try and keep the arms even, and then we're just going to wrap it around with yarn. And we're going to move from one side back to the other side, and then back to the other side. You want to keep wrapping as evenly as you can, because you don't want any gaps in your pom-pom. And the more times that you wrap your pom-pom, the fuller it will be. All right, so now I'm done the one side. Now you can either cut your yarn and either use a different color on the other side or continue on. But what I like to do is I like to keep mine all in one piece. So as a kind of holder, I like to take the yarn and pull it through the arm. So once you're finished wrapping your arms, you're going to close the arms of the pom-pom maker like so. If you can't close your pom-pom maker, you've wrapped it too much and you're going to have to remove a little bit of the yarn. Now, when you close the pom-pom maker, you can choose to cut your yarn here and start wrapping on the other side. You can even use a different color if you'd like. But because I know I'm going to be making mine all in one color, instead of cutting the yarn and continuing new, what I like to do is take my yarn and feed it through the ends of the arm here, just as a kind of holder, and then I'm going to close the arms. Then I take the yarn and feed it through between the other set of arms into the inside of the pom-pom maker, and then I can just continue to wrap the other set of arms. You don't have to do that. It's just a trick that I do, and I just find it a little quicker because I don't like to cut the yarn if I don't have to. So as you can see, we're wrapping the other set of arms. We're moving from one side to the other, and you want to just try to, again, wrap it as evenly as you can and try to get it similarly full to the other side. All right, so here we go. We're almost done. All right, that looks good to me. And then we're going to close the other set of arms. And so this is where we're at here. And then I'm going to grab my scissors and I'm going to cut my yarn. So now that we're done, we're going to turn our pom-pom makers up towards ourselves. And you see the ridge or the opening between the two arms. We're going to place the tip of our scissors in that ridge, and then we're going to cut the yarn. You want to keep your thumb on the arms of the pom-pom maker because you don't want it to pop open on you while you're cutting. So you want to continue to hold this, and you want, now that you've got all one side cut, you're going to turn your pom-pom maker over and cut along the other side. You really would need to have a sharp pair of scissors for this. It will be harder if your scissors are dull. All right, so now that I've got that cut on both sides, this is what it looks like. And then we're going to put it down and grab our yarn again. I like to use the same colored yarn for this step, and you're going to cut a piece of yarn depending on, your preference and how much yarn you like to play with. I usually like about 10 to 15 inches of yarn tail, so I've got more than enough for what we're about to do. So I'm going to take my yarn that I just cut, and I'm going to place the center point of the yarn and place it through the center of the pom-pom maker. Now I'm going to wrap it around. So both tails of that piece of yarn are on one end here. And then I'm going to pull on the pom-pom maker with one hand and pull on the yarn tails with the other, because I want that yarn tail to be up as close to the center of the pom-pom as possible. Okay, so then we're going to tie a double knot as tightly as you can without breaking your yarn. So there's one part of it, and here's the second. All right, so this is my tip for making what I like to jokingly call nearly indestructible pom-poms. And I've made so many of these that I've yet to have one fall apart. So take your pom-pom, place it on a flat surface, and have your yarn tails facing you, and look at your pom-pom maker and imagine it's a compass. So if these yarn tails facing you are south, then we've got north, south, east, and west. And what we're going to do is we're going to wrap the yarn tails around and tie a knot at each of those compass points, because I've found that by doing that, it actually makes the most secure pom-pom. And as I've said, I've never had one fall apart. So I've gone to the side to the northern side. I'm tying a knot, and then I'm wrapping my yarn tail around, bringing it to either east or west, and then tying some knots. Now, if you find that after you've made your pom-pom that your yarn tails are showing through the center of your pom-pom, or you've trimmed it too close, you can try substituting your yarn, some embroidery yarn in for your yarn tail, and the thinner yarn even, and that will help to hide it further inside the pom-pom. Or you can use your scissors to fluff it up. But I've only really ever had that issue with really thinner yarns for my pom-poms. So now that I've got it wrapped and all secured with knots, I'm going to remove the pom-pom maker. So we're going to take our thumbs or our fingers, and we're going to open up the arms on both sides of the pom-pom maker. And then you should be able to grab both sides of the pom-pom maker and pull it apart. All right, now we're done with the pom-pom maker for now. And this is what your pom-pom should look like. Now, at this point, I recommend grabbing the yarn tails. We want to make sure that we're not cutting them. So by holding them, you're ensuring that. And then you're just going to use your scissors to trim up your pom-pom to make it a nice, even, round ball. Okay. Now, I just like to do some preliminary trimming because I'm going to compare it to my second pom-pom after I make that and try to make sure that they're as even as possible. All right, so we're just working around the pom-pom and trying to even it up and get rid of any really long pieces. We want it to be as even as possible. So I'm going to finish this up, and I would recommend that you take the time now to make your second pom-pom, and then we'll meet back here when we have our second pom-pom, and I'll show you how to make our first earring style, which is the chain style earrings. All right, so now that we have both of our pom-poms done, we're ready to add our earring hardware. So the first step for our chain style earrings, and that's this one here, is to add a jump ring to our pom-pom. Now I'm going to thread one side of the remaining yarn tails from our pom-pom onto the jump ring, or put the jump ring onto the yarn tail. And then I'm going to use the other tail to tie a knot. We want to do this tightly because we want this as close to the surface of the pom-pom as possible and kind of almost hidden within the strands of the pom-pom. All right, so now that I've got that tied, I'm going to trim my yarn tails. And because I've already shaped my pom-pom, I'm going to try to get this as close to the surface as possible so it looks like it just blends right in. All right. So now we've got that set, and now we want to make sure that we can find the jump ring where it splits here. And that might be a little tricky to see because of the yarn and how small it is, but we've got a split here in the jump ring, and we're going to use our jewelry pliers to open that up. So I want to have just a little bit of space to add my chain to it. So I'm going to set this aside and grab my chain. So when you're making both of these, you want to ideally cut both pieces of chain at the same time, so that way they are the same length. Now as I've already mentioned, I've already got one of these done here, and so I know that I need to cut approximately this much chain. So we're going to need our wire cutters, and I have these hilariously large ones today because my jewelry ones have gone missing. And you're just going to cut the wire with your wire cutters. All right, so now I've got my length of chain, and then we're going to thread one end of the chain onto the jump ring. There we go. Now that I've got it thread onto the jump ring, I'm going to use my jewelry pliers to close the jump ring so that the wire is safely secured onto the jump ring. All right, so now that we've got the wire on the jump ring, we're going to use our jewelry pliers to close the jump ring to secure the wire to, or the chain, sorry, to the jump ring. So that's all set. And now we're ready to add our earring. So I've got these fish hook earring wires, and you're going to need to open up the little loop that's on the end of it with your jewelry pliers. You don't want to open it up too much. You won't need that much room. And then you're going to thread the other end of the wire onto the fish hook earring, and then use your jewelry pliers to close that up. And that's it. That's how you make your chain style pom-pom earrings. And now let me clear my space off here and I'll show you how to make the other earring style that we've got, which I'm calling the wire style. And we're going to be using those eye pins and our fishhook earrings for that. So I'll be right back. All right, so I'm back and we're going to be making this style of earrings. And again, I'm calling this the wire style for lack of a better name. They're just essentially drop earrings, but instead of a chain, they use an eye pin. So when I've finished my other pom-poms here, for this style, you can go ahead and trim the yarn tails off because you're not going to need them. And then you're going to need your eye pin. So for this style, we're going to be using the eye pin, and the eye pins that I'm using have these little eyes at the top and they are completely straight down to the end. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab our pom-pom and we're going to insert the eye pin through the top of the pom-pom. Now you might need to wiggle it around a little bit to find a spot where it fits all the way through from one side to the next. Right? And I'm going to move that up a little further than I need to just to show you this next step. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use our jewelry pliers to create a hook in the end of our eye pin. So I'm going to take my wires and we want to turn the wire in on itself. I'm just going to use my fingers here. And we're going to create this little hook. And so then we're going to push the hook up into the pom-pom and then pull the eye pin. And we're going to just pull, pull, pull until we feel resistance and we know that that pom-pom isn't going anywhere. And so what's happening is the hook is hooking onto the series of knots that we created on the inside of the pom-pom and it is stuck there. So it's not coming off. So we can put that down and then we're just going to need our earring hardware. We're going to use these fishhook earrings at wires again, and then we're going to use our jewelry pliers and we're going to open that eye up at the top. And then we're going to thread the eye pin onto the earring and then use our jewelry pliers to close the top back up to secure it. And there you go. That's how you make this second style of earrings. I hope that you found this helpful, and I hope that you found a fun and unique way to use up your scrap yarn. So if you're also looking for some fun and unique ways to make different kinds of pom-poms like stripes and different kinds of textures and such, I've created a list of different ideas that you can use to create unique pom-poms, to create unique pom-pom earrings that are as unique as you are. And check out that in the written version of this tutorial. And I've linked that in the description box below for you. If you enjoyed this video tutorial, I hope that you did, please hit that like button and please consider subscribing to this channel. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you. Please put those in the comment section as well. If you enjoy free crochet patterns, please check out my blog, theloopylamb.com, where I've got tons of free crochet patterns, many of which have step-by-step tutorials just like this one. Thank you so much for watching, friends. Happy hooking, and I'll see you next time.